Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. As so far, I've been your host, Zero Yeti, and this is our 77th episode. Without further ado, let's go into it. The first animal of the week being the Okapi, also known as the forest giraffe, the Congolese giraffe, or the zebra giraffe. It is an aerodactyl mammal that is endemic to the Northeast Democratic Republic of the Congo in Central Africa and is the only species of its genus, Okapi. Okapia. It is a primarily diurnal and solitary creature which inhabits rainforests and swamps of the Congo River basin up to 5,000 feet in elevation, where it feeds primarily upon tree leaves and buds as well as grasses, ferns, fruits, and fungi. Okapis are occasionally preyed upon by crocodiles, leopards, and other cats. Reach around 4 to 5 feet tall at the shoulder and 7.5 to 8.5 feet in length. Weighing around 400 to 800 pounds, has a long neck and large, flexible ears. Male okapis have short, distinct horn-like protuberances on their heads called ossicones, which are typically less than 6 inches in length. Females possess hair whorls and ossicones are absent. The okapi's coat is a chocolate to reddish brown, and in sharp contrast to the white horizontal stripes that are on the legs and white ankles. These resemble those of a zebra. Additionally, the face, the throat, and the chest are grayish white. These features serve as effective camouflage amidst the dense vegetation. Rut in males and estrus in females does not depend on the season and may occur any time of the year. During these periods, two okapis will search out each other by scent and then begin courtship by circling, smelling, and licking each other. After mating, they go their separate ways. After around a 440 to 450 day pregnancy, mother okapis give birth to a single calf, which will remain by their mother's side for about a year. Female okapis become sexually mature around 1.5 years of age, and while males reach sexual maturity around 2 years of age. Under ideal conditions, an okapi may live upwards of 30 years. Our next animal is that of the beluga sturgeon, also known as the great sturgeon. It is a critically endangered species of sturgeon in the family Accipinceridae in the order Acipiceriformes, which is native to the Caspian and Black Seas and formerly the Adriatic Sea, as well as their surrounding rivers, lakes, and tributaries. Unlike most other sturgeons, which spend the majority of their time near the sea or river bottom, the beluga sturgeon is a pelagic predator which travels throughout the water column in search of prey, such as crustaceans, mollusks, other fish, amphibians, and on the rare occasion waterfowl and even younger and firm Caspian seals. They feed using suction, often swallowing their prey whole. These sturgeons are preyed upon, albeit rarely, by bears, seals, and large fish. Reaching upwards of 25 feet in length and 3,500 pounds in weight, the beluga sturgeon is the largest bony fish that can be found in fresh water, and it is the third largest bony fish on Earth, only being surpassed by the ocean sunfish and the great oarfish. However, beluga sturgeon of these great sizes are very old and have become increasingly rare in recent decades because this species is heavily hunted for both its meat and valuable caviar. Today, most belugas that are caught are generally 4 to 11 feet long and 50 to 600 pounds in weight. The female beluga is typically 20% larger than the male, and it shows typical characteristics of other sturgeons, such as elongated body, a heterocircle tail, partially cartilaginous skeleton, naked skin, and longitudinal series of scutes. The rostrum is conical and contains numerous sensory pits on both the ventral and dorsal surfaces. The mouth is large, crescent-shaped, and protractile, with the upper lip continuous while the lower lip is interrupted by a large gap. The barbels are laterally compressed with foliated appendages arranged in two pairs, originating midway or closer to the mouth than to the tip of the snout. Like most sturgeons, the beluga is adromous, meaning it migrates upstream in rivers to spawn in clear, hard substrate which offers both support and cover to their sticky and adhesive eggs. They begin their migration in late fall and overwintering in lakes or in deep bends in the rivers before moving further inland to their breeding grounds, which can be upwards of 600 miles upriver. Here, females will lay up to 700,000 eggs, and an adult beluga sturgeon will spawn every 4 to 7 years. Under ideal conditions, a beluga sturgeon will reach sexual maturity around 12 to 22 years of age and may live upwards of 100 years. Next up is Queen Alexandra's birdwing, which is a species of butterfly in the genus Orthoptera, which is native to the forests of the Oro province in eastern Papua New Guinea. The species was first described in 1906 by Albert Stewart Meek, a collector employed by Walter Rothschild to collect natural history specimens from New Guinea. In the next year, Rothschild named the species in honor of Queen Alexandria of Denmark. Queen Alexandra's birdwing is notable at being exceptionally hard to catch, often flying several hundred feet in the air and resting on the branches of the jungle canopy. To overcome this difficulty, Meek resorted to taking the first specimens with the aid of a small shotgun. However, in the months to come, Meek soon found the caterpillar forms and began to dutifully breed them in captivity. Female Queen Alexandra's bird wings are considerably larger than males, with remarkably rounder, broader wings, ranging around 3 inches in body length, 12 grams in weight, and sporting a 9 to 11-inch wingspan, compared to males which reach around 1.5 inches in body length, 6 grams in weight, and 6 to 8 inches in wingspan. It is the largest butterfly species on Earth alive today. When the wings are open, the female butterflies display a brown coloration with white marks patterned in a pair of rows of chevrons on their primary wings, while the hind wings are also brown but having submarginal lines of center triangles and dull to white-yellow. The males show an iridescent blue-green hue in both the primary and secondary wings, along with the black band at the center. When the wings are closed, both sexes display a fainter version on the dorsal sides along with darker veins. As caterpillars, they have a black body with red tubercles all over, as well as a band of cream color at the center of their body. Said caterpillars almost exclusively feed upon the Aristolochia sclictera, which is a species of toxic pipe vine. It takes around 6 weeks for the insects to reach the stage of the chrysalis, and their cocoon has a golden yellow to tan coloration with distinctive black markings. This stage lasts for a month or so before the adults emerge. As adults, Queen Alexandra's birdwings feed on the nectar of a variety of flowers and fruits, and are themselves occasionally preyed upon by birds and orb weaver spiders. During their brief 3-month lifespan as adults, this butterfly mates frequently, often every morning, with females being capable of laying over 240 eggs throughout their life. Next up is the king penguin, which is a species of penguin native to the waters of the Antarctic, South Pacific, South Atlantic, and Southern Indian Oceans, where they breed on the northern reaches of the Antarctic continent, as well as the many sub-Antarctic islands, including South Georgia, Macquarie, Corzette, Heard, Tierra del Fuego, the Falklands, Kerguelen Islands, and Prince Edward Islands and McDonald Islands. They are a fairly social species, living in large colonies both on land and at sea. They feed primarily upon fish, squid, and krill by diving at depths of up to 350 to up to 1,000 feet. King penguins are themselves eaten by orcas, leopard seals, giant petrels, squaws, and Antarctic fur seals. Standing around 28 to 40 inches tall and weighing around 20 to 40 pounds, the king penguin is the second largest species of penguin after the emperor penguin. Kings sport a broad, bright orange cheek patch contrasting with the surrounding dark feathers and a yellow-orange plumage on top of the crest, as well as colorful orange markings along the side of the lower mandible. They are monogamous species who mate generally between September and November, after which time the female will typically lay one egg, which is large and white and pear-shaped. It is incubated for around 55 days by both parents, sharing shifts of around 6 to 18 days each. Like their closely related emperor penguin relatives, the king penguin bounces the eggs atop its feet and incubates it in a brood pouch. The chicks remain with their parents for around 30 to 40 days until they become big enough to join a group of other chicks known as a creche, which are then watched over in shifts by a few of the adults at a time. Full fledging occurs at 14 to 16 months of age, and at which point the chicks are ready to enter the sea. Under ideal conditions, a king penguin may live upwards of 25 years. Next up is the Texas horned lizard, also known as the Texas horned toad, the horned frog, the horny toad, the horny lizard. It is a North American species of spiky-bodied reptile belonging to the genus Phrynosoma, or Phrynosoma, which is endemic to the south central regions of the U.S. and northeastern Mexico, as well as several isolated introduced populations occurring in the southern United States. They inhabit grasslands, deserts, scrubland, and open woodlands, and they are extremely docile creatures who often spend their days bathing in the sun or sitting in ambush for prey such as harvester ants, which make up the bulk of their diet, as well as termites, beetles, and grasshoppers. At night, they burrow into the ground to sleep in relative safety. When threatened by a predator, the horned lizard puffs itself up and appears very fat, which causes its body scales to protrude, making it difficult to swallow. It also has the ability to squirt an aimless stream of blood from the corners of its eyes and sometimes from its mouth at distances of up to 5 feet. This not only confuses would-be predators, but also the blood is mixed with a chemical that is foul-tasting to mammals. In spite of this, the Texas horned lizard is still preyed upon by foxes, coyotes, roadrunners, falcons, hawks, kestrels, shrikes, whip snakes, and rattlesnakes. Females are typically larger than males, reach around 4.5 to 5.5 inches in length, around 3 ounces in weight, with males coming around 3 to 4 inches in length and 1 ounce in weight. Their bodies are short and round and covered in horns, with the 2 largest crowning on its head and 2 more on its brow and jawline, respectively. Coloration varies depending on the environment, ranging from a yellow or reddish brown for deserts to a tannish brown for prairies. The mating season lasts from mid-April to mid-June. 44 days after mating, the female will deposit 14 to 37 eggs inside of a burrow, where they will incubate for 40 to 61 days before hatching. Under ideal conditions, the Texas horned lizard will reach sexual maturity around 2 years of age and may live upwards of 8. Next up is one people have been asking for a while, the jaguar, also known as the jaguar, the jagaret, the onca, or simply the panther. It is a species of large cat and the only living member of the genus Panthera native to the Americas, where it can be found from the southwestern United States and northern Mexico down to Paraguay and northern Argentina. They are primarily solitary and nocturnal species which spends a considerable amount of time on both land, in the trees, and in water. And they are known to inhabit the deciduous forests, tropical and subtropical rainforests, swamps, wetlands, dry grasslands, cloud forests, and historically the temperate oak forests of North America. Jaguars occupy the niche of apex predator, feeding upon fairly large prey, upwards of 40 pounds in weight, such as deer, peccary, tapirs, anteaters, tortoises, turtles, capybara, agoutis, otters, caimans, iguanas, armadillos, livestock, and various species of bird and fish. Jaguars are themselves rarely preyed upon by caimans, crocodiles, cougars, and anacondas. Jaguars vary in size and weight considerably depending on subpopulations, with the smallest reaching 5 feet in length and 75 pounds in weight, while the largest can get up to 8.5 feet in length and 350 pounds in weight, making them the largest cat native to the Americas and the third largest on Earth, only behind the tiger and lion. It is a compact and well-muscled animal with proportionally shorter legs, smaller tail, and a larger head than other big cats. The jaguar's coat ranges from pale yellow to tan or reddish yellow, with a whitish underside, and is covered in black rosettes. These spots and their shapes vary. On the side, they become rosettes, which may include one or several dots. The spots on the head and neck are generally solid, and those on the tail may merge to form bands near the end and create a black tip. Melanistic jaguars are also known as black panthers and are more common in denser forests. Breeding may occur year-round, and during such time, a pair will stay together for up to 5 days. After a 91 to 111-day pregnancy, mother jaguars will give birth to 2 cubs, which are weaned around 3 months of age but may remain with their mothers for 2 years. Under ideal conditions, a jaguar will reach sexual maturity around 2 to 4 years and may live upwards of 20 years. And our extinct animal of the week is Oviraptor, which is an extinct genus of Oviraptor dinosaur that lived throughout what is now Mongolia during the Campanian and Maastrichtian stages of the Cretaceous period, some 78 to 70 million years ago. First remains of Oviraptor, consisting of a mostly complete skeleton with a badly crushed skull, were found lying near a nest of approximately 15 eggs and were unearthed from the reddish sandstones of the late Cretaceous Djokta Formation of Mongolia in 1923 by a North American paleontology expedition led by Roy Chapman Andrews. This specimen would be formally named and described a year later by Henry Fairfield Osborn in 1924. Because the skull of the specimen was separated from the eggs by only 10 centimeters of sediment, Osborn interpreted Oviraptor as a dinosaur with egg-eating habits, naming the animal Oviraptor, which is Latin for egg seizer or egg thief. The specific name Philoceratops is intended to mean a fondness for ceratopsian eggs, which is also given as a result of the initial thought that the nest pertaining to Protoceratops or another ceratopsin. However, in the 1990s, the discovery of numerous additional specimens, including nesting and nestling Oviraptor specimens, proved that the initial specimen wasn't of an Oviraptor stealing eggs of another dinosaur, but instead it was of a mother Oviraptor trying to protect its own nest from a sandstorm. Reach around 5 to 6 feet in length and 2.5 to 3.5 feet tall, around 70 to 90 pounds in weight. That is my cat. 79 pounds in weight. Oviraptor was a bipedal creature which sported a short, curved, toothless beak and a prominent head crest. It had a covering of feathers over its body and a pinostyle, which is several fused vertebrae at the base of the tail that in modern birds is used to support a tail of feathers, like a fan of tail feathers. With the egg stealing idea now debunked, it is believed that Oviraptor had a much more diverse omnivorous diet comprised of leaves, berries, fruits, nuts, seeds, as well as mollusks, worms, small vertebrates, insects, crustaceans, and other arthropods. As always, take care to my guys, gals, non-binary pals. Have a wonderful day.